Hey everyone, welcome to IGN's review discussion for The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D. I'm Marty Sleva. I reviewed the game for IGN. I'm joined by Sam Claiborne.
I'm wearing a mask.
He's wearing a Majora mask. And Brian Altano.
I'm wearing a mask of sadness.
I gave the game an 8.7. I thought it was absolutely great. And for a quick snippet of my review, here's my verdict. The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D proves that interesting game design and strong world building never get old. Even 15 years later, it still delivers charming characters, tense resource management, and a world rife with personality. Despite some cumbersome menus and a single drag of a dungeon, Majora's Mask is a great adventure that stands the test of time. For more on The Legend of Zelda, you're already in the right place, IGN.com. So I think we can all agree that Majora's Mask was and still is a super weird game. Between the 72-hour time limit and time mechanics and just the tense nature of, oh god, I have so little time to actually accomplish everything, to the characters in the world that are all just weird. Everyone has these weird problems. Everyone sort of feels slightly off kilter. It's totally different than any other game in the series. How do you guys feel about that?
Well, everybody else is as panicked as I am when I play the game, for one thing, because the world is ending, and I'm trying to get through the days, and get my tasks done, and they're all thinking about the moon crushing them. So everybody has weird reactions. But you do very strange things in this game. It's almost like a portable Zelda game with, like, Link's Awakening has Kirby in it. This game, there's a part where you smell underwear in it, and then there's parts where you give a guy in a toilet a piece of paper. And there's all kinds of goofiness like that. I think it makes for like a really disconcerting, like almost uncanny world. I like it a lot.
I like that.
Actually, it's weird. I still think Link's Awakening is the weirder game if you put them side by side. But
it is a goat that's in love with a lady.
It's true. That's strange. And it's all a dream. It's Majora's Mask is a really well developed and designed world in that there is this weird panic to everything, but you almost don't feel like you're part of it. And that's one thing, I felt like a tourist to this world that was about to end, but none of it really meant anything to me because I had this powerful flute that could make me never worry about problems. But I did find some of the quirks that are inherent to that game design are they're very odd and they don't always fit. Like there's time traveling in the game, right? But when you time travel back to the first day, you don't keep your bombs and your rupees and your arrows, but you do keep your special weapons. Why?
It's just sort of like it's video games.
It's just a video game quirk, But there was other things that I didn't like as much, like when you beat the Snow Peak boss, and all the Goron area turns to spring, and all the ice melts. But then you time travel again, it's all snow again. And to get it to turn back, instead of just putting like a switch at the top of a mountain, you have to beat that boss again. And I found that to be like a slightly cumbersome game design. But otherwise I really felt like that world building that they're doing really works in terms of the panic and strangeness of it all.
Yeah, I completely agree. And we were talking about it in the office the other day, and this game is sort of melancholy and heartbreaking because every time you are like, well, I'm getting near the end, I better time travel. To me, you just sort of leave this world and go to another one. And these people all still die. They still get crushed under this moon. And so the 20th time you enter Termina and you're talking to these people, you're like, you're all ghosts to me. You've all died hundreds of thousands of deaths, and I am just the one trying to zigzag in between and, save a version of you guys, but ultimately just save myself. And it feels really strange, and you see how people are dealing with the apocalypse, how the couple just keep dancing and don't care, or how the swordsman in town becomes a coward on the last day and just doesn't want to die. And I like the fact that you're going, man, if you're just playing the 4 dungeons, if you're trying to just mainline this game, you're not getting what's really good about it. You're not getting the side quests of Romani Ranch that's filled with, UFOs and this really weird, cool things. You're not getting the textures of the side characters that really add a lot to this bizarre, Tim Burton world.
Not only is Hyrule not Hyrule in this game as usual, Link is never Link in this game. He's very little of the game do you play as Link. And I think that's actually one of the game's biggest flaws is that first of all, you're stuck in a Deku suit for the first part of the game, the mask, and then you're a Goron for a lot of it and a Zora for a lot of it. I don't like how any of those control, but I like, and then they're used for solving puzzles, and then you're pretty much those characters the entire time you're in dungeons. But it also means that anything I upgrade my Link character to have, including my sword, or the arrows, which are upgrades in dungeons this time, which is strange, the ice and fire arrow. you just don't get to use them that much. Like I upgraded my sword, and I didn't feel like after that I got to use my sword very much.
Interesting.
Like I don't invest in Link because you can't invest in his Goron transformation because he can't use anything.
Yeah.
You're just that.
I felt like I used Link predominantly, but I did find that switching masks, or especially the sort of higher powered masks, gets really annoying after a while.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not even so much that, but even with the real estate of the 3DS bottom screen giving you extra buttons and 2 extra inventory slots, I still felt like it wasn't enough. And especially playing on the new 3DS, there's these 2 buttons on top that no one's using. They're the L2 and R2 shoulder buttons.
Yeah.
And I found that I would have like arrows, hookshot, and bombs, and then I would have the Goron mask and the Zora mask, and I'd still want the bunny hood somewhere because when I switched over to Link, I'm like, I want to run around fast.
That's how you always want to get from point A to point B.
So I mean, I'm sort of in between that because I did appreciate kind of getting upgrades for Link and using them as him, but I actually didn't like the frequency in which you have to switch to the special characters. Yeah. There's some dungeons where you have to do a couple different ones at a time. But
I mean, Stone Tower is, it has all 3 for puzzles.
Yeah.
I really like the fact that the 24 masks, like they all, when you wear one of them, they change how you interact with the world. Like if you're a Deku scrub, people are sort of racist towards you.
They are racist.
They're like, hey, we don't serve your kind. And so you have to pull it off and become a human again.
Likewise, you can pretend to be a Goron and check into the inn.
Yeah.
And she's just like, yeah, all Gorons look alike.
I think one of my favorite things about Majora's Mask is...
And then that Goron has to sleep in the street.
I know, it's messed up.
That's the saddest moment.
But what I do love is there's the guy, and there's 4 of them. There's 4, like, sort of guards on the end of each part of the town.
Like, hey, kid, you can't get out of here.
And
I'm so sorry.
You walk by, and you're like, I want to get out of here. And he's like, no, you're a child. And he's like, what's that? And you're like, it's a sword. And he's like, oh, well then totally. Go hurt yourself in the field, even worse than I thought you would.
And he says, it was wrong of me to stop you.
It's funny.
It's really cool. It's weird. And it has those sort of weird one-on-one interactions and moments. Like, I don't remember what it was like to stay at an inn in any other Zelda game. But I do remember that because it was weird. I don't remember what it's like to leave a town in a Zelda game, but I do remember that. So, I feel like despite... I think despite its sort of controversial nature, I know around the office we definitely have varying opinions. Some people are like, man, this game's much higher than an 8.7. Other people are like, oh, I think it's a little bit lower. I think we all appreciate the fact that it's bizarre and it takes a risk, which it's almost like Mario 2, where games don't really do that anymore. Games have a formula and they stick to it, whereas this was like, hey, we could have done Ocarina of Time 2, but let's just do this really weird thing instead. And
and I want to reiterate, I was one of those people in the office that was like, I don't like this game back from the N64, and I've worked at IGN for 6 years, and Majora's Mask comes up almost daily.
Yeah.
And I was always like, that's not my favorite, and I don't understand why it's people's favorite. And now that I've actually put substantial time into it again on the 3DS version, and I'm playing it the smart way, I really do appreciate it. I really, really do. I think it's a great game.
It's a great portable game too, right?
Absolutely.
Because I actually will set myself up with I have 15 minutes on the train, and I know in those 15 minutes I can do like 3 or 4 things that are in my little task list.
Get
through
absolutely.
Them, just save if I can't, and I'm just right there in the middle of the second day, and that's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. The world's weird, and I think we all appreciate it for that. So that's what we thought of The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D. Thank you guys so much for joining me.
You're welcome, Goro.
Oh, that's really nice, Goro.
Thank you, Martin.
Oh, you guys are kind. For everything else, The Legend of Zelda and spooky masks, you're already in the right place. IGN.com.